Dean. I had known him for a full year, and we did transformation work together, and we got to know everything about each other from working in coaching groups like you're doing. And this was back in 2007. Then 2008, the year-long program was over, and we had been a big support to each other as friends with this whole group. And then I remember Dean saying, "I'm all set because now I have Ann," which was nice. But we really still were friends. He was in California. I remember just one day on the phone, we would talk for a little while and hang up, and then I was like ready to hang up. Then he wasn't hanging up. I'm like, "Why aren't you hanging up?" He said, "Well, I'm going to the grocery store. You can stay on the phone." And then we're just little things, like I was helping him shop, and from the phone, he was talking about what he was buying. It was just so mundane, but it was funny. That was the one day I think we talked, I want to say 20 out of 24 hours. I had the day off, apparently. Because I remember about midnight, we finally hung up. Of course, there's a 3-hour time difference. And then at 4 o'clock, I woke up and, I don't know, I remember like calling him again. All of a sudden, we went on this like marathon. Like, it was crazy. But the friendship, I think that what I'm saying is, like, if I might have had infatuation about him, which I think when I first met him, I can tell you I knew him, like, I know, so I'm going to marry that guy. I knew it. But I was a little bit, infatuation means I didn't really know him, and I didn't know that he could, drive me crazy, little habits or whatever, like we do, whatever, pick up the towels. Oh, that's not one of his things, but, just things like that. You don't see those things with infatuation, but we took enough time that I really knew him. So I could make a wise decision.
You didn't really just decide to take your time. It was, you had that moment of, I'm going to marry him, but you put that aside because it really wasn't part of the relationship. It wasn't even something that you were counting on or planning on. It just popped.
Didn't get in the way at all.
It was a moment of your psychic ability or something, but
it helped.
There was another year before we weren't even considering dating or anything like that.
Oh.
There was nothing like that going on, and there wasn't.
No, I just had an instant flash when I saw him, and then we were working in a group in Palm Springs, April of 2007. We were this group of 20 of us called Breakthrough, and we all got in different groups and did group work together. Me and Dean and a couple of people again. I just met him for the first time, and the way he was talking about basketball, and then I was talking about my kids, and the way Dean said, "You are such a good mom. I'm telling you, Kelly, I told you this." I said, "He's going to marry me." I just heard that in my head. And then one of the things you really love about me is you think I'm a good mom.
She's a great mom.
Right, so.
Yeah, who wouldn't want her as a mom?
I'm just saying, intuitively, we all have this gift, and that's why I asked you last week if, like, do you think you want to, let's do this again, if that's okay with you, since we've done some work with this. When I think about you marrying Adam, just real quick, how's it feel? Sink or swim?
It felt better that time.
It felt better. Okay.
Yeah.
There's always hope, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's see, now that just makes me nervous for some reason.
Don't worry about it. Okay.
Okay.
Because feelings
it does. Sorry, go ahead.
Feelings are feelings. There's no right or wrong, but I think that they're pretty accurate meter. It may not be accurate 2 weeks from now, but I'm saying right now, I think you're feeling better because you're in the driver's seat. Before, that's a huge recognition. And for him, too, for you to own your power and drive that car of the relationship, I mean, you're going to know what you got or not when you're operating from a different level.
Mhm. And I guess what makes me nervous about it, and I hope that this isn't something that holds me up, is now. So if I continue to have feelings for him, I guess I don't necessarily trust myself in doing the right thing and not, being competitive and not rushing things and not, putting on the rose-colored glasses. And so, I mean, I don't know. And I guess
one thing you can notice. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing you can begin to notice when you see him or when he calls and he says, "I've got something else to do," I want you to watch yourself react. Because you know you're going to be reacting to your sister at the party getting more attention. That kind of thing. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, I talked a little bit about this on my teleclass. I feel like there's two different ways you can react to a situation. You can react emotionally or intuitively. Okay, so let's cover this for this particular topic. When we react emotionally to something, it means that we're most often driven by something from our past that has nothing to do with the present moment. For instance, I use the example, if Dean says, I don't like that dress you're wearing. If I have an emotional response, I'm probably going to go, what? And feel hysterical or feel slighted, feel hurt, be upset. But what's actually happening is not really Dean saying, I don't like that dress you're wearing. It's me feeling like a child that wasn't good enough. And that feeling was very painful. And that comment is bringing up that painful feeling. Okay? That's an emotional response. Something in the present is being triggered by a painful memory of the past that we've never healed. And we think we're reacting to what's happening and we're not. Okay? An intuitive response. Dean says, I don't like that dress. Now, I stop and I ask my higher self, what does he mean by that? And I hear, let me see what I hear if he would say that. I would hear, that's not the best color for you. I care about you and love you. I know it means a lot for you to look your best for this particular event. I'm helping you out by giving you this information. I hear that intuitively, and then I say, oh, thanks. Okay, let me think about this. Can you see the two very different reactions?
Yep.
Okay, so I think you can really keep this in mind. Try this week. When you see Adam, whenever he says, I'm busy, Kelly, what's your emotional response?
I guess, feeling slighted and almost jealous to whatever his other commitments are.
Because you're going into the past and every other time it's happened and it hurts like hell, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Now, tell me what an intuitive response is. I want you to be quiet for a minute. Just go ahead and ask the Masters of Light. Ask your higher self. Adam says he's busy. What's your intuitive response to that?
That's okay. It doesn't mean anything directly towards me. It's just he has other plans, and I'm a busy person. I can find plenty of things to keep me busy.
And not only that, but if he's busy too much, you can choose to be with someone that's not so busy.
Right.
Driver's seat, right?
Okay.
I think this is a pretty good plan. I think we're kind of keeping it simple enough because you realize you're acting emotionally. And there's no, if you fall off the emotional wagon, that's okay, right? You'll need a good cry every now and then. I just want you to know why you're upset, why you're really upset, because that'll give you power and not him power. Because it feels like, say, Adam is out of the picture and the next guy comes along and he's got something else to do. And so it's really not Adam or your ex-husband or any of the boyfriends that chose other things. It's the energy of feeling that you're not worthy of being first with someone.
Yeah.
And it goes back to probably childhood or wherever it came from. I don't like to blame everything on childhood, but there's certain kind of conditions that we get, whether it's, teachers. I worked with Dana last fall, and in 4th grade, she had this teacher that always slighted her and gave everybody else attention again except her. I started digging her root center, it came up psychically. I was like, is there a teacher in 4th grade? She's like, yes. And she said, yes, it was horrible. I said that was the first time in her life when she realized, or she felt unworthy, or she was very disturbed. It was very disturbing. This teacher was nice to everybody but her. Okay, so she was carrying this on into her adulthood, with relationships, with jobs, with all the things that we do so it can happen. It's where we're little sponges, and we pick up this information, and it's not always accurate information, but we don't know that. And so is this, do you feel a little more empowered about, like, again, you're in the driver's seat, you don't have to go from 0 to 90, but you can begin to, I want you to really think this week about a guy that you've been seeing since summer that you don't even know if you have a date for Valentine's Day. I want you to really let that one in and acknowledge the choices, so that you can decide if next Valentine's Day you want to create something different. Do you agree?
Yes. Yeah.
And if you're not run by the subconscious, again, something as easy as thinking about this holiday coming up, and instead of being upset if he doesn't ask you to do anything, you can actually use this time to think, do I want to be with someone that doesn't ask me out on Valentine's Day?
Mhm.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, that seems like logical, like, duh. That's,
well, not if you're running into a see, I want you to be gentle on yourself, because it's not obvious if you've got this pattern set up that you've always got to come second. It just is another time when you come in second, but now we're clearing the air on that, and now we're left with the cold hard facts here, right? That you don't have a date for Valentine's Day, and you don't need to set up this thing where you're second place anymore. So suddenly you ask me where you go from here. You go to making decisions for yourself that are in your highest good and on your higher self. And it may be on Wednesday that Adam may not be so attractive.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, no, it's good. And I mean, I definitely feel more empowered, and I do. Because I mean, honestly, I felt like I've almost had a curse on me that, like, wow, why is it? Like, what is going on that is making the same exact situations come up again and again? And so, it's like you feel like that curse is lifted, and it's like, okay, now I can go forward and be okay.
It is like a curse, but it's an adopted behavior because of an underlying belief and assumption about yourself and the world around you and others around you. So it's something that you adopted at your youth that has lived like a curse because it has driven you in an unseen way. And that's why there's not so much judgment around it, is that you were simply participating inside of something that you were not aware of. You didn't know the parameters. You didn't know the rules. You were and that's why you felt so lost in that game. So now you are experiencing some freedom. You're going to experience more and more of that, and you're going to learn to have some control over the outcomes.
Yeah, it's very exciting, really.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! Happy Valentine's Day!
That is the nature of transformational work. It happens in an instant, and in an instant, a new future arises that was not available prior to that moment.